Hi, everybody. So we're going to go over how to do your compare and contrast essay and the components that make up the compare and contrast essay. This might seem really simple, but we're going to dive into it anyway. Okay, so here we go. All right, compare and contrast essay. Obviously, we are going to look at the similarities and differences between things, people's events in whatever it is that you're applying this to. In our particular example, we're looking at Toni Morrison's A Slow Walk of Trees essay. Okay, so why are we doing this? The author wants to maybe take a look at something or analyze something better. So we're going to take a look at the similarities and its differences to maybe make a better decision based on something, okay, a pro-con list. This helps our reader, not just the author, by making these informed decisions. However, we can sometimes do this by showing the minimal of whichever. Like this says here, this essay can only show the similarities or the differences with minimal showing of the opposite. Maybe that's common sense. I don't know. You know, there might be more differences or more similarities than the other, and that's okay. So that's really what that is. Again, the function is to point out the qualities and deficiencies of or in something. It helps the readers to make that critical decision, like I said. It also can make people more aware, okay? For example, if we're looking at a compare and contrast essay on wearing a mask or getting vaccinated, that might help make somebody, you know, see different sides of things that maybe haven't been brought up. Okay, so that's what the main function is of the compare and contrast essay. Sorry. So you're going to use certain terms when you go to do this particular essay. Okay, so you're going to make sure that if you're comparing, you're using that like as well, both similarly, same, and common. Okay, a lot of those simile and metaphor terms. Okay, when you're contrasting something instead, or on the other hand, or other side, on the flip side, although, yet, whereas, meanwhile, however. Okay, those are going to be your other terms for that. Okay. Now, if I pull up, please bear with me as I do this. Typically, I'm a little more ready than this, but I guess I forgot. Where do I want to go? Sorry if you guys hear Moana in the background. That's not what I wanted. Okay, so when you go to write this particular essay, okay, I'm going to pull up the rubric like I usually do. Here we go. Okay, so right here, you'll see it at the bottom, okay? You're going to try to think of something to compare and contrast, okay? Maybe a movie to its book version. So think of, I don't know, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Harry Potter's, Game of Thrones. What else do I have that I could go off of suddenly? Fault in Our Stars, no. Something of that nature. They need to be similar enough that you can make comparisons and contrast. You know, you don't want to compare and contrast two completely different genres of movies, like a romantic comedy to a horror, because there's really not going to be much happening there. Maybe It, okay? Maybe you want to compare both movies of It, okay? The first version back in whenever, 19 something, and the newer version that just came out a few years ago. Okay, and then we had It Chapter 2, or maybe you want to compare both of those movies to the book. I don't know. Okay, so you're going to compare and contrast two like things. A lot of times I like to do songs for this particular essay. So you can choose a song and poem pairing that are similar. If you think of a theme that you want to talk of, or you can type in the theme, like songs about, I don't know, songs about love, poems about love. You can do it that way. You can find two very similar poems or songs. Or you could think of your favorite song, then think of that theme, and then look for a poem about it. Okay. Then you have your song, then you have your poem, done and done. You know, you're going to be going back and forth between the two items that you're comparing and contrasting. So now, the idea of writing this particular essay for me, is that you're going to be able to flip those back and forth. You're going to be able to use your clear and concise language to switch back and forth between comparing and contrasting often, okay? That is your main function in this particular assignment, okay? Remember, it's 2 to 3 pages, double space, Times New Roman, 12-point font, okay, as always. If you're stuck, we can work together to figure out something for you to compare and contrast. You just need to let me know. But that really is it when it comes to the compare and contrast essay. I hope that this was helpful to you. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you an example before I let everybody go. Bear with me. Okay, this is going to be an example of a compare and contrast between a poem and a song. Okay, so share my screen. There we go. Okay, so this is one that I wrote as an example. So it also piggybacks off of an assignment in my 102 class. Okay, so here I wrote, singer Daya has a song entitled Sit Still Look Pretty, where it seems to pull inspiration from poet Marge Piercy's poem Barbie Doll. Okay, the similarities between the song and poem are easy enough to find at first glance. They both have a protagonist as a female. The females are being urged to conform to the standard of beauty that society has set before them. In a twist, they both seem to end happily enough, despite the fact that they end differently. With the mention of differences comes an array of contrasting ideas between the poem and song. Barbie Doll's protagonist decides to conform to society's standard of beauty by cutting off her nose and her legs, meaning she has plastic surgery to eradicate her original features and conform. However, unfortunately for her, she dies due to complications from the surgery. As she lays in her coffin, the onlookers mention how beautiful she looks. What this means to the reader is that she finally has achieved conforming to society's standard of beauty. And on the other hand, Daya's protagonist says that she will not conform to what society wants and expects of her. And in this twist of fate, rather than dying, she comes out on top by staying true to herself and loving herself more for it. She chooses a different path than that of Barbie Doll's protagonist, but still has a happy ending. There is much more that I could have said. However, it was strictly an example that I was writing to show students what I expected. Again, it is just an example. You do not have to do a song and poem. You can do a movie to a book, a movie to a movie. Anything that you find have, enough similarities and differences are still of the same, category. I don't know what word I wanted to use, just totally blanked. Hopefully this helps. If you guys have questions, just let me know and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.